Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to unlock a really powerful secret from the self-improvement classic Psycho-Cybernetics. Turns out there's this hidden mechanism in your mind, and right now, it's constantly steering you toward either success or failure.
So our story kicks off with a really puzzling question that a plastic surgeon, Dr. Maxwell Maltz, was wrestling with way back in the 1950s. See, he was a master at giving people new faces, but he just couldn't figure out why it so rarely gave them a new life.
He'd see patients, right? The scars were gone, their features were perfectly corrected, but inside, all those old feelings of inadequacy were still there. And that's when he realized the problem wasn't skin deep at all. It was much, much deeper. It was their inner self-image.
This big insight led him to a truly revolutionary idea about how our minds work. He came up with this concept he called our automatic guidance system.
Now, at the very heart of this system is your self-image. Maltz, building on the work of other psychologists, saw this mental blueprint as the absolute keystone of our personality. It literally sets the boundaries for everything we think we can achieve.
He called this thing a servo mechanism, which is basically a fancy term for a goal-striving machine. His favorite analogy was a guided torpedo. Think about it. A torpedo doesn't travel in a perfect straight line. It course corrects, right? It uses feedback from its mistakes to zigzag its way to the target. Well, Maltz argued your brain works in exactly the same way.
But here's the crucial part. This machine is completely impartial. It doesn't care if the goal is good or bad. You can program it for success, or you can program it for failure. Feed it positive goals, and boom, it's a success mechanism. But feed it fear and negative beliefs, and it becomes an automatic failure mechanism. It's just like in computing, Garbage in, garbage out.
Okay, so if that's true, how in the world do you program this thing for success? How do you give it the right target? Well, the key, as Maltz found, is something we all have, the incredibly powerful tool of your imagination.
Get this. In a now famous study on basketball players, one group practiced free throws for 20 minutes a day. They improved by 24%. Not bad. Another group didn't practice at all, and no surprise, they didn't improve. But a third group, they never even touched a basketball. They just practiced in their minds, in their imagination. And their improvement? A staggering 23%. Almost identical.
And, this technique, mental rehearsal, visualization, whatever you want to call it, this isn't some fringe idea. It's a fundamental tool used by top performers in pretty much every field you can imagine. We're talking surgeons, CEOs, and Olympic athletes.
It applies directly to the business world, too. Leaders like Howard Schultz of Starbucks understood this deep down. He didn't just see a coffee shop. He imagined a whole experience, a third place. Like he said, if it captures your imagination, it will captivate others. A vividly imagined future is always the first step to actually creating it.
Okay, but before you can build that new reality, you often have to break free from what Maltz called the hypnosis of old, false beliefs that are holding your self-image captive.
Maltz argued that almost all those nagging feelings of inferiority, of not being good enough, they all stem from one single fundamental mistake. This completely crazy idea that we should measure ourselves against someone else.
The simple truth is, you aren't in competition with anybody else, because there is literally no one else on Earth like you. You're unique. So the goal isn't to stop being inferior or to become superior. The goal is to realize that the whole comparison game is counterfeit.
All right, let's get really practical here. Let's dive into a technique you can start using today to rebuild your self-image and start programming that success mechanism.
Maltz called this technique shadowboxing. Think about the boxer Jim Corbett practicing his jab in a mirror over and over. You do the same thing. You rehearse when there's no pressure, no audience. You're building up memories of success and that feeling of confidence in your mind before you ever have to step into the real ring.
And this image just brilliantly illustrates the whole message. It was actually captured by the artist Salvatore Dali in a painting he gifted to Dr. Maltz. You can see it, right? On one side, a world of shadow, where the self-image is tiny, shrunken, walking toward destruction. And on the other, a world of sunlight, where the self-image is 10 feet tall, walking confidently toward peace of mind.
So the crucial question Psycho-Cybernetics really leaves us with is this. Your internal guidance system is always on, and it's always walking somewhere. The only question is, which self-image are you feeding it, and which direction are you walking?